Okay.
Good morning. And I realize that it's just us and your lunch, so it's not the ideal position to be in. But very delighted to be here. My name is Iris, and I'm very much looking forward to this panel. First of all, what we heard this morning about future-proofing our industry, there was one word that always came back. It started with the President Boko, then it was Mr. Al Cook, CEO of De Beers. It's about one component that's non-negotiable for this industry, and that is sustainability. And yes, we can see diamonds are forever, watches and jewelry are forever, but only under one condition, and that is if the consumer will trust, if he, she, or it buys, when they walk into that boutique or store, they will want to understand where is this product coming from, how has it touched lives positively, were human rights embraced, how is it contributing to nature and planet. And that, like you said so beautifully, Mr. Jackie from Taché, is that it is a promise that no one can deliver on its own, because if one of us contaminates, the whole industry contaminates. So I have really two, I think, fabulous guests to talk about this. And allow me to first introduce Mrs. Diana Verde Nieto, a top leader expert, and she's the author, and I really encourage you to go and buy the book, Reimagining Luxury, Building a Sustainable Future for Your Brand. And we also have with me Francesca Manfredi, who is Head of Sustainable Innovations and Watches and Jewelry at Kering. Now, I hope that technology works, because I'm always not so good at that either. Let's see. So I wanted to discuss actually three small topics in this fire chat. First of all, how are we going to navigate us as an industry in this new normal of uncertainty? Second, do we all have the new mindset from mining to retail to really drive that change? And finally, no one can do it alone. What kind of partnerships will succeed to be able to deliver that promise to the consumer? The new normal. I would like you to look at this map, the new normal for our industry. Wait, I have to go back. Let me see. I don't know if someone can help me go back. Yeah. Thank you. Look at this map of the world. These are the regulations that we as an industry have to adhere to. So when we saw that slide before to talk about, yes, I'm all in for transparency and traceability, well, we better be all in, because it's the law. It's the law, and we need to be ready for it. And I think that brings me to my first question to you, Diana. Why is there this anxiety? And let me just even focus only on the CSDDD, on the European Green Deal regulations. Shouldn't legislation actually be part of solution building and also be part of an accountability mechanism for the industry? And how do you think we should shift our mindset?
Thank you very much, Iris, for the question, and good morning, everybody. I'd like to start with one statement, that we think that sustainability is a cost. Sustainability is not a cost. Sustainability is an investment. And when I mean an investment, I make this a very strong statement because investments has returns. So when you think about sustainability, normally is something that sits on a silo somewhere else in the business. But when you move this in the strategy and you start internalizing the externalities, businesses thrive. And there are companies out there that have done this strategy, and actually you can see them progressing, not just business, but also countries. So when you ask me about legislation, that is mind-blowing. It's so much coming in. And if you have any business that are either a listed company in the EU or have over 100 million pounds, in the short term, 2024, 2025, 2026, you will have to comply to CSRD. I don't know how many of you have heard about CSRD, but this is legislation that the EU have imposed, and is basically a way to enable any country to deal with Europe in a transparent way. So we talk about transparency as country of origins, but transparency is beyond that. I'm not a fan of ESG. I think it should be GES. Start with a great governance architecture, and then have a strong social environmental pillar to be able to transition the business to be a real a force for good. And the thing is that most businesses are starting to understand that by 2030, if you want to be a company that investors will invest in you, you will have to present a comparable set of data, because sustainability is a risk. It's a climate risk. So how many of you live in countries which have experienced flood or droughts in the last 2 years? Anyone?
Raise your hands.
Exactly. I mean, not just there is volatility in the economic system and in the political system, there is huge volatility on our weather system. And if you don't internalize climate risk as a company risk or a financial risk, you will be lost in the future. So legislation is a great opportunity to have a little nudge into be ahead of what will be a problem. People talk about the future. The future is now, sadly. So in the very, very, very near future.
And I think that's where the industry, sometimes I wonder, needs to be ready for this. So, who is working on their nature impact? Who is looking at their first risk assessment? Who is looking at their climate risk impact? Who is looking at supply chain disruption? And I know it's a lot, but it means is also that the industry needs to educate itself and goes on this pathway. And I think that's super critical if we also want to stay relevant. And Francesca, coming to you, Kering has always been, I would say, the front runner in everything that we've seen, from climate to biodiversity. If people follow, they are the first luxury group that have just set their targets on nature. What drives this proactive approach, for such a luxury group? The why? Why so forward-thinking?
Thank you, Iris, and thank you for having us here, and good morning, everyone. Iris, I really enjoy this question because it really goes back to the fundamental. At Kering, we have a motto, which is reimagine the future, and it links immediately to the chairman of our company, which years ago, more than 15 years ago, made a statement saying that investing in sustainability makes a good business sense. And this could be just a motto for you, but in order for you to understand how is important and how is it possible to embed sustainability into our supply chain every day, I give you a simple example. Kering has been years ago the first group going fur-free. Do you remember that 10 years ago, wearing a fur was pretty normal? Then we have been the first one, and after us, a movement started, and so the investments of the benefits of the well-being of animals starting to be so important. And so you can see that as of today, there are very few brands who are using real fur. So this was, this example I wanted to highlight was just to say that this was for the fashion industry, but same is for the jewelry industry. Because as Iris was mentioning at the beginning, we heard a lot about embedding sustainability, creating new conscious, new conscious consumers, and igniting passion for natural diamonds. But how is it possible if we don't go close to the consumer needs? And consumers today are asking for traceability and are asking for the truth. So how we can go to the truth? Thanks to innovation and thanks to investments through collaboration with different industry representatives.
And that brings me back to you, Diana. If we think about the second part, a new mindset to create a new business model, often we hear companies talk about, well, this is my business strategy, this is my sustainability strategy, so it's kind of two silos. Everyone needs to have one strategy. How can companies really rethink that business model, and what does it mean? You know, what are steps companies can take?
Thank you for the question. I mean, you're completely right. I mean, there's always two things, sustainability and business. And actually, when people start understanding, like in the sense of caring, that actually when you put them together, you can make more money, not less money, in simple terms, really. And not just because you put this sustainability, but what are the implications of doing that? So the fact that we talk about zillennials or millennials, those guys are old now, and the Gen Zs and the alphas, they will not compromise for companies that are not doing the right thing. They just simply won't buy them. And you say, oh yes, but they are, you know, buying Timo or all of those kind of brands. Yes, of course, in the very, very short time. But when you think about when do they start buying luxury, is age 15 and pre-love. This is a reality. They have changed their behaviors. So, you know, mindset is incredibly important. And it's important at leadership perspective, at ExCo perspective, and all the way throughout your organization. And mindset only means the fact that you can do this, and you can do it from an economic standpoint as well as from a social and environmental standpoint. But if economic is what is your driver, which most companies are, sustainability will enable to retain talent, to attract the best talent, to capture the hearts of your consumers. And only by breaking into the silo through education, you can really actually start talking the language. So you do not want more sustainability people at the top. You want technical people that can do carbon emissions, do you know, nature accounting, can do DE&I. But what you want is the best marketeer with sustainability at the heart of it.
Yeah.
You want the best procurement person.
I'd like to step in on that marketing side, because as you know, one of the regulations is also everything on the green claims. So if you as a company want to make a fantastic claim on how responsible or sustainable you are, it needs to be substantiated, or you could have very big lawsuits, and some of them have already arrived. So again, it means is we need data, we need to have the right data, and I fully agree when I hear traceability just about origin, it gives me goosebumps. Really? Is it just about the origin? No, it's about dignity. We do not want our diamonds or our jewelry be associated with conflict, full stop, with human rights abuses.
Can I ask something else? And at the cost of biodiversity.
Exactly.
So you need to make sure that another pillar of that, like Alcock said, it has to be nature. It has to look after nature, and nature also comes with water. It's not just the animals and the plants and the soil, but it's also the water piece.
And I want to step in because I know, many of our members are also in this room. And for example, within the Watch and Jewel Initiative 2030, for example, we have a work stream just focusing on the dependencies of water or dependencies of nature. How are you going to really assess this as your business case? Francesca, practical examples. Give me 2 examples. We dream about your brands, think about Boucheron, I love Gucci, everyone knows. Can you give an example that demonstrates, how you put that kind of innovative mindset into practice?
Thank you, Iris. This topic is something that I really like to discuss because I'm a very pragmatic person, and it's lovely to speak about how sustainability is important for our daily life, but in the end, when you are on the ground, you have to say, okay, to implement sustainability, what can I do? I give you 2 examples. Let's start from Boucheron. You know that Boucheron is a super high-end position luxury and jewelry brand, and they sell big diamonds. They sell amazing jewelry piece, but they do also a lot to innovate. And how do they innovate? By transforming waste into new stones. You could say, how is it possible? is it possible through innovation and through technology? So they basically create a new material called Cophalit, which is asbestos transformed into stones. So if you go to a Boucheron boutique, you will find an amazing piece of art, which are rings, which are necklace, and they are well perceived from the market. So this is the big news. It's not just a byproduct. It's a real piece of jewelry. But then this is if we talk about stones. But then to implement sustainability, it's important also to go at the core of the problem, which is the transformation of raw materials and how the raw materials are implemented into the supply chain. And to go back to Gucci, we see that we have created this closed-loop system for gold. You know that when you have bags, shoes, belt, all the pieces which are the color of gold, to create it, we use gold salt. Those gold salt on discarded products or on unsold products are then reused to recycle gold, to reinject the gold into our supply chain. So what is this magic? No, it's the use of technology combined with sustainable strategies.
And that brings me actually to the third point I wanted to touch, and I'm just new partnerships for innovation. And I'll come back to Diana. In your book, you reiterate actually what we heard this morning, again from the president of Botswana, from the CEO of De Beers. No one can do this alone. You know, we need to build bridges, different kind of partnerships, collaborations. So what is your perspective on, you know, what kind of partnerships work? What is impactful?
I think having third parties or bilateral or belonging to organizations that can help you to understand the optimum solution, so you don't have a lot of trial and error, is really important. The work that you do in IRIS is absolutely phenomenal at the Water Tours Initiative. There are many other organizations from a biodiversity perspective, from other areas, but the point is the best vehicle for collaboration is to have people from the same industry openly talking to each other with different stakeholders and bringing this. And actually, I mean, I want to ask you a question because I know the work that you're doing for example, you talk about CSDDD. So women, gender, we haven't talked about this. And we just see a panel, and forgive me about this, but with 5 men. Where is gender in here, please?
Well, first of all, I would say all women rise. All women in this room rise. Can we applaud these women? Oops. But honestly, I have to say, I am super happy to see so many women because 20 years ago, there were nearly no women. And when I look at some of the leading associations today of the industry, if I look at the World Diamond Council with Ferial Zerouki, if I look at Responsible Jewelry Council, Melanie Grant, if, you know, women are rising, but we need to do more. But thank you for reminding us. A topic very close to our hearts. And by the way, tomorrow, it's all about integrating women and diversity and inclusion as part of your business strategy. Francesca, Kering has been again leading on partnerships, the founder of the Fashion Pact, co-founder with Maison Cartier of the initiative I so proudly lead. Why, again, is this the philosophy of Kering, and what added value does this bring to the group?
Thank you. And here I would like to introduce a concept which is the one of collaborative approach. Because it is true that Kering is a leader in sustainability, but it is, yes, sure, it's leader because of its inception and because there is this important topic at the top of the company. But we truly believe that in order to advance, especially in our industry, we have to strengthen the efforts together because without the supply chain, we cannot communicate to the end consumers, but you, without the retail, cannot convince the end consumers of the good that derives from natural diamonds. So this is just an example of how the integration is important. And it is coming back to the Watch and Jewelry initiative. We believe that it's so important to link together the different actors of the industry because to harmonize the goals and the vehicles we need to use to arrive to the targets, we need a platform, because we are all set in our daily life with our own goals, that if we do not set together common goals, and if we do not have such a strong engine to make it progress, it will be complicated to get to the goal of a fully transparent and fully responsible industry.
And then you almost to conclude, but recently, I don't know where's Dr. Gaetano Cavalieri. Last week, we saw the beautiful news of the Innovation Award. As you know, my heart goes to young talent. We need to see that we stay attractive for the industry and that youngsters from all backgrounds want to work for us, want to work for us. Tell me more about this special award.
Yes, I would like to comment on what I've just said before. As you know, at Kering, we have deep expert on nature, we have the deep expert on water. And together, we created the Nature Roadmap, which explains exactly how you can navigate into all the problems linked to biodiversity, linked to water strategy, linked to the erosion of the resources that the planet gives us. But this was possible thanks to the collaboration of the various experts. And going back to this amazing news that we released last week, and we are very proud, Kering in 2018 launched the Kering Generation Award, which is an international award aimed at supporting startups and innovators in order to create sustainable solutions for different industries. We are very proud that together with the Politecnico of Milano and with CIBJO, the World Jewelry Confederation, this year we have launched the Kering Generation Award for Jewelry, which embarks the 10 best universities and academies in the world giving courses on jewelry and sustainability, plus the startups. What will be the theme of this year? It is second choice, first choice. So we will ask the universities and the startups to participate, to promote, and to present their project in order to transform waste into new precious materials. So it is an honor for us to announce this award here and to work with such amazing partners, because as we did with the fashion industry, we truly believe that also in the jewelry industry we can ignite innovation and sustainable practices.
Thank you.
I mean, I think the courage of an investment that, initiatives like you just done, or the Durand Watch initiative, is another proof point that sustainability is not going to go away, because the young guys out there really want it. And this is not a European phenomenon. This is a global phenomenon.
Yeah. And also there is a point I would like to highlight. It's the fact that we conducted an important research on Gen Z. You know that today we are split into us, our age, so consumer of our age, which are very confident with diamonds, which are very confident with jewelry. But then we have to prepare ourselves for the future consumers, which are not that much future. They are already our consumers, which are the Gen Z. And the researchers are telling us that the Gen Z are not that confident with jewelry. And you know why? Because they are scared about what is behind. Because for them it's so important, the impact on water, the impact of climate, and unfortunately they are facing a lot of anxiety given to climate change. So if I can pass you this message on investing in young generations by collaborating with them, because we have universities all over the world, and you can simply go there and explain what you do, because what you do is magic. You just have to create connections with the young generations to let them fall in love with our beautiful industry.
Thank you, Francesca. Gender. I just want to do a last call for action for tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to have a session tomorrow morning on integrating diversity, equity, and inclusion as part of a business strategy. It's actually a big collaboration we have with UN Women. And I would like everyone to give a warm-hearted applaud for Karen Rentmeester, the CEO of Antwerp World Diamond Center, who has really been an ambassador on sustainability and who is the first woman CEO of the AWDC. And I think she's doing an amazing job. Let's give her a big kudos and applaud. I don't know where she is. But I also have one final call for action before lunch, and it's not a difficult one. I'm asking you to sign tomorrow, the first thing with your coffee, you sign the Women Empowerment Principles of UN Women. And I want to show you this slide, if technically my skills go. And I want to show it because 2010, the first company, of course, was again Kering, Gucci, Rio Tinto from mining. Rosy Blue, 2011, Mr. Raj Mehta, Mr. Ravi Bansali, first company in the industry. Then you see De Beers, LVMH, etc. Look at those companies. 2022, we're a small initiative, bold, courageous. Watch and June Initiative 2030, under the leadership of Kering and Cartier, asks, we want you to join the Women Empowerment Principles. We want you to build an action program. Remember, women are your consumers, diversity of markets. And look, we're bringing this movement. We're on this journey with you. We want to activate, accelerate, and we want to lead on true purpose for this industry. That's my final call for action. I thank you for your time. Have a lovely lunch. And remember, sustainability is here to stay. Thank you.